Assalamu alaikum students. I'm a teacher from Ilma Online Academy. Today in this lecture, we are going to discuss about negative numbers. So basically numbers are of two types. You can say that the first one is the numbers that are positive numbers, right? So positive numbers are basically the numbers that are having a positive sign with them, but like the plus sign. But mostly we know no need to show the positive sign with the numbers. For example, this is 5, 6, 7. These are all positive numbers. But if you're going to talk about the negative numbers, they are going to have the negative sign with them. Okay. So for example, if we are going to talk about negative numbers, that can be -5, -0.5, -1/2. These are all negative numbers. Okay. So basically over here, we are going to discuss how the negative numbers are going to be added or subtracted or using some arithmetic mathematical solutions. So some of the examples they give us over here, that if the weather is very cold and the temperature is 3 degrees below zero. So what does that mean? Like from zero, you need to make it below 3 degrees. Below means that you need to make it smaller. Okay. So for that, you can use the negative sign. Sometimes students use the number line as well, but you can directly find this one out, that how the number is going to be the below zero or above zero. So one more example they gave, that on a bank statement, if someone is $55 overdrawn, so if anyone has overdrawn the number, so it will appear as with a negative sign. Okay, -$55. So similarly, some of them we need to solve using some mathematical operations, and accordingly we will solve them. So let's start about the negative numbers. So this is exercise 1.2a, in which we are going to discuss all about these negative numbers, how we are going to add them up or how we are going to subtract them. Fine. Okay, students, so here is exercise 1.2a. In this, they're saying that from 1 up to question number 10, move up or down to the thermometer and we need to find out the new temperature. Okay, either we need to move up if it's basically rise up, and if it falls, then it means that we need to move down. Okay, so what they are saying, that the temperature is 8 degree, okay, plus 8 degree, and it falls by 3 degrees. So for the first one, if the temperature is falling apart, so we need to subtract it. So that will be plus 5 degree. Okay, here you will show the sign as well, because we are dealing with the negative numbers or positive numbers, so we need to show them how the number is basically rising up or falling apart. Okay, second is they gave us a negative number on the thermometer, that is -8 degrees. The thermometer is showing the temperature, and this time they're saying that it rises by 4 degrees. So accordingly, -8 degrees plus 4 degrees. So positive negative is negative. As 8 is having negative sign, so you would be having the negative sign along with that. So this is your temperature rise up. Next, third one, they gave us the temperature plus 4 degrees and it will fall by 5 degrees. So positive negative is again negative, but with the 5, as we have the negative sign, so you can write the negative sign along with that 1 degrees. So this is your temperature falls down. Okay, next, the temperature is -3 degrees and it rises by 7 degrees. So this will be 5 negative, 7 -3 will be 4. And as 7 is the greater number, so accordingly, it will be having a positive sign like this. Fine. Okay, so next is the temperature is +2 degrees and it falls by 6 degrees. So positive negative is again negative, and there we go with the -4 degrees. Okay. Okay, students, next is +4 degrees. And as it rises by 8 degrees, so positive would be positive. 8 and 4 would be +12 degrees. Okay. as the temperature is increasing over here. Along with that, the number that they gave at the start, that was also a positive number. Next is negative 1 degrees, the temperature, and it falls by 6 degrees. Okay, it's as it falls by 6 degrees, so we need to use negative sign again. So negative negative would be again positive, but the sign would be negative that we are going to use. So 6 and 1 would be negative 7 degrees. So similarly, you can try some of the questions that are related to the either the temperature falls or either the temperature rises up. Okay, so next we are going to move it for. Okay, students, so next question number 11. Here they're saying that some of the land in Bangladesh is below the sea level. So here are some heights that are basically relative to the sea level of the five villages. So some of the measurements they gave according to those five villages from the sea level, that one village is 1 meters at the height, next is negative 4 meters, and similarly some others. So what they're saying about the sea level, they gave some information that that is basically the base level. Sea level doesn't mean that the depth of the sea. This basically they are talking about the base level on which we are living in. Fine. So some, if mountains are there, so they are above the sea level, or if there are some of the plains, so that are basically downward, so we would be calling them as low as the sea level. So accordingly, they're saying that base level for measuring the elevations of the depth elevations for the depth, and it is defined as 0 meter. Like the base level is going to be defined as 0 meter. So according to that, we are going to find out the other measurements, either they are elevation, either they are depressions. Okay, so first of all, what they are asking in the part A, that which village is safest from flooding? So obviously the village that is basically higher at the sea level, that will be safest from the flooding. According to that, they gave some heights. So the height that is basically the that is the greatest one, that will be safest from the flooding. Fine. As negative numbers can't be the greater one, so we can cancel them out. Next to, we have A, that is 1 meter, and C, that is 21 meter. So that is this one, the C one is basically the safest village that will be safest from the flooding. Okay, as is at the height. Next, B1 is that which village is most at risk from the serious flooding. So obviously the village that is having the lowest, or that is basically not having the height as much as the other ones, so accordingly that will be more at more risk. But here you can check that some of them are with the negative sign, so accordingly we will be checking them out. So the most risky uh, village according to that will be that is having the least height. Okay, as we have some negative numbers here, because negative numbers are basically the smaller ones, so here we will be picking up the number that is basically greater according to the negative sign. Fine, but it will show us the least number. Okay, as this one you can check, this is negative 4 meters as compared to negative 2 and negative 1.5. This is the most smallest one number, so accordingly negative 4 meter is the village that is basically having this some serious flooding risk. Okay, next we have part number 12. In this, they're saying the driver is below the surface of the water, that is at negative 15 meters, and she dives down by 6 meters. As she is diving down, so it means that we need to make it with the negative sign. Okay, as she is going down. So as 15, negative 15 meter was the water level accordingly. So from this we need to subtract this 6 meters. Fine. So negative negative would be positive, and 15 and 6, if we are going to uh, just solve them out, because negative negative are positive, that's why we would be having the like we are going to add them, but the number will be having a negative sign with them. Okay, then they're saying that it rises by 4 meter, like after that she dives down 6 meter, then she is going to rise up 4 meters. So when she is rising up, so we can use positive sign along with that. So negative 21 meters, and in that, if we are going to, like from this, we need to subtract basically 4, as positive negative would be negative. Along with that, this will be 17 meters, but with a negative sign, as 21 is the greater number. Okay, so at what depth she is now? She is at negative 17 meters down. Okay, So in this way, some of the numbers with the negative signs or with the positive signs, either you can just add them or either you can just subtract them according to the condition. Fine. So this was your exercise 1.2a. Next, we need to apply some operations that involves the negative numbers. So these are almost similar operations. Like we need to check here which sign we are going to use according to some mathematical operations, and when we are going to add or when we are going to subtract according to this. Fine. So here they gave some examples as well. You can check. These are some examples about the negative numbers. They gave us negative 7 plus minus negative 3. Like we need to add negative 3 in negative 7. This is basically the question. So begin at negative 7. Okay, we are going to start from negative 7 and we need to move 3 in the negative direction. Like on the number line, if we are going to take, for example, this is a number line. Number line is basically going to have these arrows on both of the sides, because number line is a never ending line from both of the sides, and it starts basically from 0. On the right side we have all positive numbers like 1, 2, 3, and so on. And similarly on the other side we are having some negative numbers like negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, and so on. As they gave us this number, let's take an example of a very small number, like we have negative 2 and we need to add negative 1 in that. So from where we are going to start? We are going to start it from negative 2, basically from here. Okay, and what does that means? Negative 1, it means that we need to move one number towards the negative part. Okay, so it will be having this number now, negative 3, what they are just going to have accordingly. So what number we got as negative 3. So then this way, negative sorry, the number line as well you can use. One more example, like for example, if I have negative 3 and I'm going to add up a positive number in that, let's say that I'm going to have a positive 3 again in that. So let's see what number I'm going to get. So from here, from this one, we are going to start again from negative 3, the number that we are going to have at first at the beginning, and we need to move 3 units towards the right side or right direction or the positive numbers direction, as we have the positive number over here. So 1, 2, and 3. So the number that we got is 0. So in this way, number line also helps you to find out the directions according to positive and negative movements. Otherwise, directly we can go. So for if you want to evaluate these all directly, for that you need to have some, like you need to learn some rules according to this. Like if we have a positive sign or negative sign, they are basically called the like signs. For like signs, when we are going to either add them or subtract them, we are going to have the similar sign with them. Like positive would be positive. We are going to add the numbers up with a positive sign. Similarly, if we have negative, but negative would be positive, we are going to add the numbers, but the sign would be negative. Okay, just remember that when we have like signs, we are going to use the similar sign again. Okay, if we have unlike signs, yes, unlike signs, but positive, negative, or negative, positive. So we are going to have the sign with the greater number. Okay, whatsoever the sign would be with the greater number, we are going to use that sign. But positive, negative is also negative, and negative, positive is also negative. Like you are going to subtract it, but the number would be having the greater number sign. So according to these rules, we are going to start this exercise 1.2b. It's all about the evaluation. Let's start it from the very first question, as they gave us negative 3, positive negative 9. At the first, you can just solve this one number as well in the these two signs as well. You can make them a single sign, like positive negative would be a negative number, and then we can solve these two. So as these two are like signs, so this is obvious that we are going to use the similar sign again. But as negative is positive, we are going to add the numbers up. So 9 and 3 would be 12. Okay, so let's take some of the numbers that are quite different from each other. We have positive 0.2, and in that we are going to add up 5.9. So first of all, this would be positive 0.2, but this positive would be positive again, and we can write 5.9 along with that. So positive would be positive. In 0.2, we can add this 5.9. 9 and 2 would be 11. 1 would be carried, 5 and 1 would be 6. Along with that, here would be also positive signs, okay? So in this way, you need to just keep on solving these questions. Just remember the rules in your mind and it will work out. Okay, let's go on with this fifth one, in which we have three numbers together. We have -2, positive -3, positive -4. So first I'm going to evaluate these signs together that are basically the double signs over here. -2. Okay, -2, positive negative would be negative, then we have 3, then again positive negative is negative, and then we have 4. So you can solve all of them at once, or either you can go with first two and then the last one. Okay, as all of these are having the like sign, so you can use the like sign again, and then you can add them all. So 4 and 3, 7, 7 and 2 would be 9. Okay, so now I'm going to take some numbers randomly. So let's go on with 11th one. In this 11, they gave us -19, positive 200. Again, if we are going to evaluate this one, these two signs, so positive would be positive again. Along with that, we have 200. So positive negative is negative. From 200, now we are going to subtract this 19. Number 19, as both are basically unlike signs, so accordingly, we are going to use the greater number sign. So 200 is the greater number and it's having positive sign. So 200 -19 would be 181. So this is your part number 11. Hope so is getting clear. Now, next, let's see about 13th one, how we are going to solve this. We have -1.8, positive 10. So for the solution of this, we are going to write this -1.8 similarly. Positive would be positive, and then we are going to have 10 along with that. From 10, we are going to subtract -1.5 because positive negative is negative. From 10, if we are going to subtract 1.5, as 10 is basically the greater number, and whatsoever the sign the 10 is going to have, we are going to have the similar sign over here, okay? Positive sign, and from 10, if we are going to subtract 1.8, it's going to give us 8.2. So this is your part number 13. Okay, student, let's start some of the other questions as well. So randomly again, I'm picking some of the questions just to give you the idea that how we are going to solve them. So we have -19, -7. Okay, so here again, these two signs, we will be solving them first. So for this, negative would be positive, as we don't have any number inside, so you can just directly write positive sign with them. So then again, positive negative is negative. These are unlike signs. So with the greater number, the sign that we have, we are going to use that sign. And from 19, we are going to subtract 7. So it will be 12. Okay, next number that I'm going to choose is 19 parts. In this, they gave us -10, negative, positive 70. So again, positive negative would be negative, along with that 70. So negative positive, these are like signs, so we would be just adding them up, but we will use negative sign over here. So 70 and 10 would be 80. Okay. Okay, so next I'm going to choose some numbers that are three numbers along with some signs. So we have +4, positive -7, and positive -2. So similarly, I'm going to first solve these two signs that are with each other. So positive negative is -7, positive negative again negative, and we have 2. So here you can again solve them all once first, or either you can do the first two first. So positive negative is negative. With 7, as I have the negative sign, because these two are unlike signs, so I'm going to use negative sign here and -2, because from 7, yeah, from 7, if I'm going to subtract 4, it would be -3. And this -2 right now, you can just write along with that similarly. So in this way, this evaluation will become easier. So negative negative is now positive. 3 and 2 would be -5. As we have the like sign, so that's why we will be using the similar sign again. Okay, let's go on with part number 33. So we have +9, positive -7, -6. So again, first I'm going to use these two signs to solve them. So +9, positive negative is -7, and negative negative would be +6. So first I'm going to use these two numbers to solve them. So positive negative is negative. So along with the 9, we have a positive sign that is basically the greater number. So that's why I'm going to use a positive sign here as well. From 9, if I'm going to subtract 7, it will be 2. And this +6, we can write along with this similarly. So 6 and 2, adding them both up. So this will be +8. Because again, this is like sign. Positive, positive would be positive. Okay, so let's see how we can solve this 36th part. We have -204, negative +304. So here again, we are going to solve these two signs first. Positive negative would be -304. So these two are now like signs. So we will be using the like sign again. So 4, like negative negative would be positive. We need to add these two. 4 and 4 would be 8, 0, 3 and 2 would be 5. Okay, let's see for part number 41. So we have -2, -8.7. So negative negative would be positive. So we can write positive 8.7 first, and then positive negative would be negative. But we are going to use the greater number sign because these two are like having the unlike signs together. So that's why positive sign I've used. From 8.7, we are going to subtract 2. So only whole number part is going to be subtracted. Like these two whole number parts will be subtracted accordingly. This will be 6.7. Okay, let's go on with part number 45. We have +9, -6, +9. So let's solve these. We have +9, negative, positive negative is negative, and 9 along with that. So as the first two numbers are having positive sign, so they were going to add it up. So 9 and 6 would be +15, and this -9 would be as it is. So in this way, positive negative is negative because we have unlike signs, so we'll be using the greater number sign. And from 15, we are going to subtract this 9. So from 15 subtracting 9, we are going to get +6. Okay, so let's see how we can go on with 48th part. Okay, in 48th part, we have -47, -16. So again, if we are going to solve it, we are going to write -47 first. Negative negative would be positive and 16. So positive negative is negative. 47, from this we are going to subtract the 16. So 7 -6 would be 1. 4 -3 would be 4 -1 would be 3. But along with this, we are going to use the negative sign. Okay, so in this way, these questions can be solved out. Hope so this lecture is clear to you all. So see you in the next class. Allah Hafiz.